All right, I want to welcome everyone to our live Saturday morning presentation. I've gone in and muted everyone, so if you do have questions as we go through today's presentation, you'll have to unmute yourself. And then we, like usual, we'll have time at the end of the presentation to answer any questions that you might have. As you can see by the title, we're going to be talking about the science of pH. And then we also want to look at the synergy products that help in this whole aspect of pH. You can see by my screen that I have a scale. It's called a pH scale. It goes from 0 to 14. And your acid-alkaline balance is a very critical factor in both disease prevention and how well you age. So understanding this aspect of your body's pH and its effect on your health is a critical component to any successful health strategy. Now, there's not a lot of people that I would say specifically look at pH, but there is a lot of people that need to understand what this all means and how it applies to their health. So when you look at the body's pH, some people consider it to be the most important item to pay attention to for both optimal health and disease prevention. And you get into this great debate between acid alkaline, and it's, again, important to understand this whole element. So your acid-alkaline balance is one of the central issues in this increased health risk for all diseases, including cancer. And as you gain knowledge in this area, you'll see how it both affects obesity, diabetes, health disease or heart disease, and a whole host of other types of health issues. So let's get a basic understanding of pH. And as you can see, I'll go back to the scale. It goes from 0 to 14, and 0 is complete acid, 14 is complete alkaline. So when you're from 0 to 6.99, that is considered the acidic side of the equation. 7 is neutral. 7 is the perfect balance between acid and alkaline. And then anything above 7, 7.01 all the way up to 13.99 is alkaline. So 0 is complete acidity, 14 is complete alkalinity, and the lower on the scale below 7, the more acidic something is, and the higher on the scale above 7, the more alkaline something is. So if I'm at 7, going back to this scale here, if I'm at 7, I'm neutral. If I do anything less than 7, I'm getting more acidic, and if I do anything greater than 7, I'm becoming more alkaline. And as we go through today's presentation, you'll begin to understand why this is important. Now, I have this question, got math, and this is usually the problem that most people have when they look at the pH scale. They think of the pH scale as arrhythmic rather than logarithmic. There's a difference between the two. Logarithmic means that the values separating each unit are not of equal value along the scale, but increase in proportion to their distance from a pH of 7. So example, if I had a pH reading of 6, that's 10 times more acidic than 7. If people look at a pH of 5, they think, okay, well, if I'm 10 times more acidic at 6, then if I'm at 5, then I'm going to be 20 times more acidic. It doesn't work that way. This is logarithmic. So it means that if I'm at a pH of 6, I'm 10 times more acidic. If I'm at a pH of 5, I'm 100 times more acidic. If I'm at a pH of 4, I'm 1,000 times more acidic. So the farther away you get from 7 on the acid side, the greater the effect that it has. The same thing applies on the alkaline side. The greater that you're away or above 7, the greater the alkalinity. And so what people see as a small change in the acid-alkaline balance, like if I'm going from pH of 7 to a pH of 6, they think it's no big deal. If I go from 6 to 7 to 5, it's no big deal. But in reality, to your body, it is a big deal because we're talking logarithmic increases as opposed to arrhythmic increases. And although there are some organs in your body and organ fluids like your gastric region that have a higher or lower pH, in the gastric region, your pH is around 2. Your body functions best when the pH of the internal biochemical environment, which would be your blood, your lymph system, your intercellular fluids, they want to be slightly alkaline. a pH of somewhere between 7.365 and 7.390. It's a very narrow range, and your body prefers to be slightly alkaline. And if you understand this pH scale from above, then you can see how the body likes to keep itself slightly alkaline and in a very narrow range, and anything outside of this causes stress on your body. And the further outside this range, then the greater the stress goes up. It goes up exponentially. And very seldom will you find a person become what's called alkalosis. That's a reading bigger than 7.4. Most people tend towards becoming acidosis. They become more on the acidic side of the equation, and it's usually due to the food that they eat. Now, what happens when we become more acidic? When the internal environment of our body becomes more acidic, or the foods that we're eating causing us to become more acidic? Well, they usually result in the following ailments: lack of energy or chronic fatigue, poor circulation, high blood pressure, heart disease, weight gain and obesity, irritability, nervousness, leg cramps, inflammation, joint fatigue, arthritis, rheumatoid arthritis, gout, gastrointestinal disorders, acid reflux and irregular bowel movements, diabetes, kidney stones, allergies, skin disorders, osteoporosis, candida, and cancer. So as you can see, there are a wide range of hosts of different types of health issues and disease processes that become more prevalent as a person consumes a diet that causes their body to be more on the acidic side of the equation. Now, just want to make a couple statements here. If you Google the search term death by disease, you're going to find a strong correlation between the list that I just put up there. Now, some people, when they go into this pH scale, they're going to tell you that an acidic body is a breeding ground for all diseases, that no disease can exist in an alkaline environment, and that the primary cause of cancer is lack of oxygen in an acidic environment. Now, I've reviewed a lot of scientific information, and while I can't completely endorse those statements, what is clear to me is that an acidic environment creates a much more favorable environment for all types of diseases to flourish, meaning that the more acidic my food intake is and the more acidic that my body is, the greater the probability of disease to begin to have its ability to rear its ugly head. And if you can maintain an alkaline type of diet that supports keeping you on the alkaline side of the equation, you'll significantly reduce your risk for all types of diseases as well as inflammation. Now, as we go through this, I want to show to you what I feel is one of the major culprits. And I don't want to pick on Coca-Cola. I'm using them as an example because it's what's in Coca-Cola that causes so many health issues. And I believe that the diet industry, or I shouldn't say the diet industry, the pop industry has been a contributing factor to the diseases that occur in North America as well as around the world. We're going to take Coke as an example, but you're going to find some of these same ingredients in Pepsi and other dark colas. So any dark cola are going to have some of these issues. And what I want to do is let me increase the size of this. So you'll see on the ingredient list for Coca-Cola, carbonated water, that's not a big deal. But then we get to high fructose corn syrup, caramel colors, phosphoric acid, natural flavorings, and caffeine. Now, I want to reduce this. The importance of this issue of pH in your health can best be shown by this example. And again, we're going to use Coke. Coke has a pH value of 2. Now, if you remember again where we talked about it being logarithmic, if I have a pH of 7 that's neutral, and I have a pH of 2 from my Coke that I'm drinking, that's 100,000 times more acidic than 7. If you combine that with other alkalizing foods like processed foods, like sugar. As you can see, we'll go back up here. I'm going to increase this a little bit. You can see that the total sugars here are 39 grams of sugar for a 1 can. In this case, this is a 12-ounce can of Coca-Cola. If I've got 39 grams of sugar, 1 teaspoon of sugar is equal to 4 grams. So if I've got 39 grams of sugar, I have almost 10 teaspoons of sugar that's in this can of Coke. You'd find the same thing for Pepsi. You'd find the same thing for Mountain Dew. Although Mountain Dew won't have the phosphoric acid, it will have the sugar. And so sugar is a huge component of causing you to be acidic, as well as it creates a lot of toxins in your body. Now, when you look at this, let's decrease the size a bit. What the body does to offset an acidic environment is it's going to pull calcium and other minerals from your system. Calcium is usually taken from your bone structure. So if your diet is highly acidic and you're not consuming many alkaline foods to offset that, nor are you taking in minerals and trace minerals to help offset this, you're looking at a recipe for osteoporosis. And again, I'm a firm believer that the reason why people in America have seen such a big increase in osteoporosis issues has a great deal to do with the pop industry. It could be a diet pop. If you're drinking Diet Coke or Diet Pepsi, you still have phosphoric acid that's part of that equation. They are still highly acidic in nature. If you're diabetic, you're drinking 14 teaspoons of sugar with that can of Coke. And here's an interesting fact that for America, did I cut that out or did I guess when I did my editing for this, I left this out. But the average intake is 1.5 cans of Coke on a daily basis. That's the average. Now, I don't drink Coke at all. I don't drink any pops. So that means that someone's drinking my 1.5 cans a day. And I'm sure there's other people like me that don't drink any kind of pop, especially anything like a Coke or a Pepsi. So some people are drinking more than 1.5 cans on a daily basis. So when you look at the amount of sugar, they're consuming almost 15 teaspoons of sugar on a daily basis just from their Coke intake. Again, that has a huge factor on your microbiome, has a huge factor with regards to your pH levels. And it's really important that, again, we begin to understand this acid-alkaline debate and what it has to do with your health. And as you can see, it has everything to do with your health. The vast majority of the American diet centers on foods that create an acidic environment in your body. This allows other acid-producing pathways to take hold, which have a negative impact on your health and wellness. And so the body's acid-alkaline balance moves to the acidic range as a result of the following 3 things. Ingesting acid-producing foods. When food is metabolized or burned, in our body it leaves an ash. This food ash is either going to be neutral, acidic, or alkaline, dependent largely upon the leftover mineral composition of the food. So here's a list of acid-forming foods: corn, canned fruits, cranberries, most grains and grain products, most beans and legumes, milk, peanuts, peanut butter, most animal proteins, tuna, most fats and oils, sugar, artificial sweeteners, alcohol, and aspirin. So you've got all these different acidic forming foods. How do you balance that out? Well, alkalizing foods are water, most vegetables, most fruits, especially if they're low in sugar, almonds, fermented tofu, whey protein, all herbs and many spices, sour dairy products, probiotic cultures, bee pollen, and juices that are green, veggie, or fresh fruit. When we look at super acidity acidifying foods, again, Coca-Cola, could be Pepsi, pH of 2, beer, I'm sure there was a lot of beer drank on the 4th of July, pH of 2.5. Coffee has a pH of 4. Super alkalizing minerals, potassium, pH of 14, sodium, pH of 14, calcium, pH of 12, magnesium, pH of 9. Now, these super alkalizing minerals are going to become extremely important when we begin to look at some of the synergy products with regards to how they can be used to help keep a person on the alkaline side of the equation. So the other thing is the creation of an acidic environment results in toxicity and microform overgrowth. It affects your microbiome. So as you eat and drink foods that combine this whole aspect of creating an acidic environment, you're allowing the bad bacteria of your microbiome to dominate, which also allows pathogens to start growing like candida and proliferate in your body. So yeast and candida and anaerobic bacteria, they now all have an environment that fosters their growth, which results in toxins and acids being excreted into your system, causing further acid-alkaline imbalance. In fact, we've talked about in previous Saturday presentations how a leaky gut contributes to this whole environment. Well, as you're eating and drinking foods that are causing an acidic environment in the small intestine, you're causing a leaky gut. You're nourishing the bad bacteria that you don't want, that as it processes that food, creates toxins and continues to erode the lining of your small intestine, allowing those toxins to get into your bloodstream. Those toxins then travel through your bloodstream and cause systemic inflammation throughout the body. That's a huge problem. And the other thing that happens is as that microbiome, the bad bacteria begin to dominate, they then also influence your eating habits. So they're going to want to continue to influence you through cravings for the same types of foods, acidic in nature, that are going to support them and continue this process of creating toxins that degrade your overall health. Also, it results in poor elimination and neutralization of acid. So your body will go through great lengths to maintain its normal pH level. So it's even going to stress other tissues and body systems to do this. This means that calcium, as you can see, calcium has a pH of 12. Calcium is a big component in your body. So the body is going to pull calcium, especially if you're not taking it in your diet, from your bones to help buffer this whole aspect, to help offset the acidic environment that you're creating through the foods that you're eating. And so you can see how the standard American diet, which is animal protein with a refined grain product washed down with either a beer or a dark cola, creates an extremely acidic environment. I can guarantee you that if you went to any public event where people were cooking out on the 4th of July here in America, on Thursday for our 4th of July, you most likely saw a lot of people consuming hot dogs and hamburgers in some type of bun, grain product, refined grain product, and they're usually washed it down with either a beer or some type of dark cola. A lot of people on the 4th of July, and especially during summertime, eat that type of standard American diet, which continues this whole process of creating an environment that's acidic in nature and that helps to foster the potential for diseases to take hold in their body, as well as other types of health issues like osteoporosis. So here's 6 steps to go from acidic to alkaline. And I want us to focus on these 6 steps because when you see these 6 steps, you're going to begin to see which products in the synergy lineup can really help to address this acidic alkaline balance. So the first step is to change your diet to include more alkalizing foods. What are the alkalizing foods? Let's go back up here. Alkalizing foods: drink more water, eat more vegetables, eat fruits that are low in sugar, almonds, fermented tofu. Now, I'll never eat that, but whey protein, and I don't have it in here, but bee protein helps. All herbs and spices, sour dairy products, probiotic cultures, bee pollen, juices that are green, veggie, or fresh fruit. And when you come back here, again, you want to look at super alkalizing minerals like potassium, sodium, calcium, magnesium, getting them into your body, either through the foods that you're eating. Now, step number 2 is increase your water consumption and eliminate dark colas. So get rid of the dark colas and increase your water consumption. And as I show you some of the Synergy products, I'm going to show you one of my favorite products in Synergy Worldwide that combines both water consumption and helps to alkalize my body. Step number 3, cleanse and detoxify your body of microforms and toxins that have been created by them. Basically, step number 3 is resetting your microbiome. That's what our whole biome kit is. All the biome products that have been created by Synergy Worldwide are all designed to help reset your microbiome from the bad bacteria to the good bacteria. And when you do that, that good bacteria is going to also change your eating habits. It's going to want those fresh vegetables and other things that are going to support them, because that's the food that they want, as opposed to the bad bacteria wanting foods that have refined grains and sugars and all the other things that you don't want that create toxins. Step 4 is replenish your mineral reserves. Step 5 is replenish your enzyme reserves so that you can do a better job through enzymes to break your food down properly. And then step number 6, replenish the populations of healthy probiotics in your abdominal area, your small intestine. So when someone consumes a diet rich in acid-producing foods, the body's overall pH balance can be thrown off. To counter this effect, alkaline foods and water must be consumed to provide the nutrients necessary to neutralize the acids and toxins created. So here are the top alkalizing foods and nutrients: wheatgrass, calcium, sodium, potassium, chloride, bicarbonate, comet grass, barley grass, alfalfa grass, magnesium, potassium, manganese, iron, and zinc. So you can see that basically plant-based nutrition and key minerals are the components that help you stay on the alkaline side of the equation and to help offset any of the acid-forming foods that you're eating. So you want to think green in what you're doing. Green fusion drinks, this whole aspect of making sure that you're taking in plenty of water. I put this up here because I've never understood this, although I don't think that it's promoted like it used to be. 20 years ago, when I was in the health club industry, I had a lot of doctors that would come to my health club. And I remember going to one of the doctors, and right there in the waiting room, there was an ad for Tums because it had calcium. And so the doctor was actually promoting people taking Tums with calcium to help them with some of their digestive issues. Well, even though calcium is an alkalizing mineral, it needs an acidic environment of the stomach to be absorbed properly. And what's the whole purpose of Tums? Tums is to reduce stomach acids. So it interferes then with the actual absorption of calcium. And so I could never understand why doctors promoted Tums with calcium as a calcium supplement. It just never made sense to me. So either they didn't understand the science that's involved in this process, or they were too indoctrinated by pharmacies, or I shouldn't say pharmaceutical companies, to promote their products. Now, with that said, we're coming back here. We're going to, again, what do we want to do? Increase your diet with more alkalizing foods. We want to increase your water consumption. We want to cleanse and detox. We want to replenish minerals and enzyme reserves, and we want to replenish the body with healthy probiotics. Those are the 6 key steps. And as you can see from a nutrient standpoint, wheatgrass, common grass, barley grass, alfalfa grass, and then the rest of them are all minerals. So when you look at the synergy products that will help you stay on the alkaline side of the equation is being above 7. To me, the best product out there for doing this is the essential greens. When you look at the essential greens product, I've got the supplemental facts here. You can see what's the #1 ingredient? Wheatgrass. What's the #1 ingredient up here on our list in terms of alkalizing foods? Wheatgrass. Then you've got common grass, barley grass, and alfalfa grass. What else is in here? Well, you go down here. Here's barley grass. You have other types of grasses that are involved here. So to me, this one product, the essential greens, is to me the key product that I would want to introduce to a person who is having some issues with the types of foods that they're eating causing an acidic environment in their body. Now, by itself, I personally cannot, if I put a packet of essential greens in water, I would have a hard time drinking that. The taste of it for me is too, I just don't like the taste of the essential greens in water. So it's not something that I would do in water, but adding the essential greens to your Biome Shake, where the other ingredients of your Biome Shake hide the taste of the essential greens, is a great way for you to bring in a fantastic product that is going to help a person, yourself or someone that you know, stay on the alkaline side of the equation. The other product is the Biome DTX. Now, the Biome DTX has, again, a great component of plant-based nutrition that helps in this whole pH aspect. Plus, it has L-glutamine. As an amino acid, L-glutamine not only we've talked about L-glutamine in other presentations with regards to the Biome DTX and how L-glutamine helps to repair a leaky gut, how L-glutamine helps to support the good bacteria that you want in your abdominal cavity, especially as it applies to weight management. But also L-glutamine helps in this whole pH aspect of being an alkalizing amino acid to help in this process. So the Biome DTX as a standalone product actually isn't that bad in taste. I've got clients that use this product. I think I've only had one person who objected to the taste of the product. Most people find that it's not that bad. And so this would be the product that could be a standalone product, or what I do, I add the Biome Shake. I add the Biome DTX to my morning shake every morning. So I make sure that not only am I addressing leaky gut, not only am I addressing with L-glutamine, keeping the good bacteria that I want to help me stay on the lean side of the equation, but it's also helping me with other ingredients that I'm taking in to be able to have this whole aspect with regards to staying on the alkaline side of the equation. You can also see on the ingredient list that there's zinc. Where is zinc on the equation up here where we're talking about the types of foods? It's at the bottom of the foods and nutrients that we talked about. But again, zinc is a great mineral to help you stay on the alkaline side of the equation. And that zinc is part of the Biome DTX. It gives you about 34% of your daily intake. And for a person who's resetting their microbiome and they're taking 2 sticks of the Biome DTX on a daily basis, you can see that they're getting almost 70% of their zinc intake, which again does a great job in helping to not only help you stay on the alkaline side of the equation, but zinc is really important with regards to metabolic processes that occur in your body and making sure that those enzymatic processes occur properly, because zinc is a cofactor necessary for that to occur. The next product is the Biome Shake. The Biome Shake, again, if you look at the Biome Shake, you have manganese, 30% of it. You have copper, selenium, zinc, iodine. You have up here, when we go up here, you've got calcium, and you've got iron, and you've got potassium. So the Biome Shake is a great product to bring some good minerals into your system to, again, help you stay on the alkaline side of the equation. The protein that's in here is a pea protein, which, again, it will do a good job in helping to support, from a plant-based nutrition standpoint, staying on the alkaline side of the equation. You can see that the total sugars in the Biome Shake is 0. So there's no sugars that are involved in the Biome Shake that, again, can move towards the acidic side of the equation. The Biome Shake is just a fantastic product, and hopefully the Biome Shake will be back in stock sometime next week from Synergy, and we can get this back into, I've got, I think, one more canister of the Biome Shake left before I'll be out of it. So hopefully Synergy has this back in stock. And then the next product is the Body Prime. Body Prime, as you can see, has 400 milligrams of magnesium. Magnesium is a key mineral in helping you stay on the alkaline side of the equation. So I see the Body Prime, again, when Body Prime first came out, I wasn't a big believer in it, but as I began to learn about the microbiome and understand the ingredients that you need to be able to reset your microbiome, I see the Body Prime as a key component in this whole process of helping to keep your body not only alkaline, but also magnesium involved in all the different biochemical processes that need magnesium as a cofactor to make sure that they happen properly. One thing I forgot to talk about up here in the Biome Shake is there's also digestive enzymes that are part of the Biome Shake. Again, what was one of the things that we wanted in terms of our 6 steps? We wanted to replenish minerals and we wanted to replenish enzymes. Well, the Biome Shake helps you do both of those. And then the last product that is part of this equation is liquid chlorophyll. In fact, I've got a glass of liquid chlorophyll sitting out on my desk. They talk about drinking water. Water is either neutral or slightly alkaline. Now, I believe that the liquid chlorophyll is a key product in helping you to not only drink more water, but also help you from the alkaline standpoint. And I would much prefer a person to drink a liquid chlorophyll than people who are promoting what I call alkaline water. If you buy alkaline water in the store, typically the pH is usually somewhere between 7.5 and 8.0. Now, that type of alkaline water that you buy in the store, I don't have any problem with. It's not that far. Again, remember, it's logarithmic. So if I've got something that's a pH of 8 as an alkaline water, I'm only looking at a 10-fold difference between neutral to 8. But you have people who buy these alkaline machines, and then they start drinking alkaline water at 10.0. Well, 7 to 8 is a 10-fold difference. 7 to 9 is a 100-fold difference. 7 to 10 is a 1,000-fold difference. And all they're doing when they drink a pH water of 10 is they're neutralizing their stomach acids, because the first place that pH water goes to is the stomach. The stomach is highly acidic in nature. They're drinking something that is very alkaline in nature, and the two of them offset so that the pH 10 of the alkaline water affects the pH of the stomach acids, which then affects your digestion and reduces the ability of your body to break foods down properly. So I am not a proponent of alkaline water if it's above pH of 8. I'd stay away from pH of 9 and pH of 10. So I think a better way for a person to get an alkalizing product from a liquid standpoint into their body is to use liquid chlorophyll. Very cost effective, 72 servings. I usually do 1 tablespoon per 16 ounces of water. And I also find that when I put my liquid chlorophyll in my water, I'll drink more water on a daily basis because I like the taste of it better than just drinking straight water. And then the last product that Synergy has that I believe would help people with this whole aspect of being on the alkaline side of the equation is the Biome Actives. And the Biome Actives, again, is helping to reset the microbiome. And one of the things that I really like about the Biome Actives, if you can see that it's Bacillus coagulans and it's inulin. Well, inulin is a great fiber. It's not digestible by you, but is a great soluble fiber that when it goes into the small intestine, it provides some protection for the Bacillus coagulans. But Bacillus coagulans is what's called a spore-forming probiotic. So Synergy takes a probiotic, combines it with a prebiotic. In this case, Bacillus coagulans is the probiotic as a spore-forming probiotic, meaning that it enters your stomach as a spore. So the spore protects the bacteria. And when it enters then in the small intestine and the environment is ideal for that spore to germinate, you also have the inulin as a prebiotic as a food source. So you get rapid recolonization of the small intestine with the type of bacteria that you want, the good bacteria, to again help in this whole process. And you can see from the biome standpoint, if a person was taking Biome Actives with the Biome Shake and the Biome DTX, they not only have a fantastic program in resetting their gut health, but they also have a fantastic program of helping them stay on the alkaline side of the equation, which is the side of the equation that you want for better health. So with that said, I've given you a lot of information. Do I have any questions from anyone with regards to the information that I've shared with you today? You'll have to go in and unmute yourself since everyone is muted.
Dan, this is Dave. Good morning.
Good morning, Dave.
Listen, I had a question. You mentioned chlorophyll, and I promote that a lot, but I didn't know that it had to do. It helped really to balance the pH. So you're recommending, in your opinion, drinking liquid chlorophyll trumps, or better yet, is better than drinking alkaline water?
Oh,
Is that what I'm
absolutely.
understanding?
Absolutely. Yeah, David, I see people who buy these alkaline machines and they're drinking pH 9, somewhere between pH 9 and pH 10. And I just think that they're doing long-term damage to their system because they're affecting their stomach acids. You know, the stomach acids neutralize their pH. So the key on most of these things that become acid or alkaline is when it's metabolized by the body, what's the leftover ash? And that leftover ash has a greater influence on the person's overall pH than necessarily the thing that they're initially drinking. So yes, I'm a firm believer that using liquid chlorophyll in water, 1 tablespoon per 16 ounces, you can be stronger if you want to, you know, but I just believe that that is a better way of helping that person stay on the pH side of the equation, get the needed water into their system, and then also have all the other benefits that come from copper chlorophyllin in terms of helping the body to detox itself.
Then a follow-up question, Dan. I've always heard that alkaline water is good to promote. And again, you may not be able to answer this, but I've heard, when I heard the promotion of those machines for alkaline, that it helps really battle cancer, because cancer cannot live in an acidic environment. or non-acidic environment, and would you say then that chlorophyll has the potential also to decrease the probabilities of cancerous conditions?
Oh, so let me put it this way: anything that you can do to maintain an alkaline forming diet is going to reduce the probability for cancers. So yes, I firmly believe drinking liquid chlorophyll for a person who's going through chemotherapy because they do have cancer would be a great product to use to hydrate themselves and help their body to get onto the alkaline side of the equation, as well as from a prevention standpoint. Again, this is just one component in an overall diet plan to help a person to consume more alkalizing products in foods than the standard American diet. So yes, the standard American diet is acidic in nature, and that acidic environment increases the probability of all forms of diseases, and cancer would be one of them.
Okay, great information. Thank you, Dan.
You're welcome. Thanks, David, for the questions. Anyone else have any questions for me before we say goodbye?
So how do we get to know what our pH is?
Well, I didn't put this in my presentation, but the simplest thing that you could do is just go and get some pH strips. You can usually go to a health food store and then test your urine. Your urine is going to be slightly acidic, but if your urine is extremely acidic, and you can most likely do a Google search on this to give you the exact parameters, so that you could do a Google search and say, okay, pH strips and urine, and you'd want to see what the ranges are for that. But the more acidic your urine is, then the more acidic your body is.
Okay.
And
Thanks.
again, it's just getting pH strips from your local health food store. Thanks for the Betsy. This presentation would make a great ebook. I don't know if I'll do an ebook, Betsy, but I do have this recorded, and then I also will make available this PDF. Anyone else with any questions for me before we say goodbye?
Hi, Dan. It's Donald.
Yes, Donald.
Again, like David said, excellent presentation. But might I add, the pH, there are really two different types of pH, if I may say that. In other words, the pH of the blood is the critical aspect, meaning that the blood will be, or can only be, in that range. So if the pH of your blood is less than 7, say, you're dead, and it can't be. The body would do everything that, or I should say, your blood will do everything to remain within that range. So if you're interfering too much with your pH, then you're likely to be messing with the pH of your blood. And you can get your pH through a blood test will give you, generally your panel gives you what your blood pH is, and then the pH of your body. So any blood test that you get, if you get the results of your panel, would show you what your blood pH is and what your body's pH is.
So just a couple things on that, Donald. So yes, a blood test can tell you what the pH, but as you've already shared with us, your body is going to help you maintain that environment between 7.365 and 7.390. So you can have a blood test, and the blood test will come back and say, okay, my pH of my blood is okay. But on your urine is going to tell you more in terms of the acidic environment of what your whole digestive system is going through. And so if I could have an acidic environment, or I could have an acidic diet, which is causing havoc to my microbiome, and still have a blood test that shows that my pH is in the normal range, and then go under the false assumption that I'm okay because my blood's okay, when I'm created the environment in my abdominal cavity, my microbiome, to be extremely conducive to all types of diseases because of what it's doing in terms of creating toxins and then causing leaky gut and allowing those toxins to actually get into my bloodstream and causing systemic inflammation throughout my body, which can then lead to other types of potential for cancers and stuff, as well as other disease processes. So I hear what you're talking about with regards to the blood, and the blood is always going to, the body's always going to maintain that pH level no matter what you're doing outside of it. But still, you've got to look at what your food intake is like, because food, all food is just, all we are in the small intestine and large intestine, but basically stomach and small intestine, is we're just a chemical factory. And all we're doing is we're taking all the chemicals that are involved in the food and we're breaking them down and then reforming them into things that we need to keep our body healthy. And again, that this whole aspect of the alkaline, the acid alkaline scale becomes extremely important in terms of health in as it applies to the foods that people are eating and the things that they're doing to maintain an alkaline side of the equation on their food intake. Does that make sense?
It certainly does. And what I'm saying is, in that same panel would tell you what your urine pH is.
If they do a urine test. I mean, I've gone to doctor's visits, and a lot of times they don't do urine tests anymore. You know, that's just another test that people, that unless a doctor, you know, if you go for a full physical, you most likely will have a urine test. But if you go to see the doctor and he pulls blood, at least my experience is they don't do the urine test like they did before. They do a blood test.
Well, again, when I do my annual, I get everything done.
Sure.
And with that, you kind of see your full range as to what all that stuff is. And so you kind of...
And you most likely did it under a fasting situation, right?
Yes. Okay.
Because
that's your biomarker for the year. So you can get your other tests done periodically, but if you're going to do your annual test, you want to get the full thing done, where the blood that they pull, they'll test for all these things with that one test.
Okay. Thank you, Donald. Anyone else with anything that you would like to ask or share this morning? I want to thank you for your time this morning. Enjoy your weekend. We'll be back next Saturday where we look at a marketing strategy for the microbiome. Thank you, everyone. Have a blessed weekend.